Hello. Welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, don't do unboxings, might do a few playthroughs in the near future, but today we're going to be talking about a racing game. We're going to be talking about Joyride Turbo, and in this game you'll be driving your car around a map. You will be trying to get to the finish line first and hopefully pick up a few weapons to blow the living shit out of your opponents. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and say whether or not Joyride Turbo is still worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this.
Bollocks.
So, Joyride Turbo, how'd you play this game? So Joyride Turbo is a dice-based racing game, yeah? In the Turbo edition of the game, you're going to have all of the content that has ever been released for the game, all the expansions and all that shit. But if you've got the retail version, then fuck knows what's in that. You have to go and find out for yourself, right? You cheapskate bastard. So before you start the game, you're going to choose a map. You'll dump the board out onto the centre of the table. You'll see that there's a load of hexes on the board. This is how you'll be moving around the map, right? The map setup will tell you to put out extra terrain pieces, and each player is going to choose a player map. This will have a character on it. You'll grab all of the components that are associated with the character that you've chosen. That'll be like a 2 hex based car, a gear stick, some dice, and either some standard upgrades, or maybe you'll have your custom upgrades that are associated with that character, yeah? The first phase is the start phase. You're going to look at the mirror on your player board, and any dice that are on your mirror are going to be usable this turn, right? You'll then move on to the lock phase. You'll choose any number of dice on your mirror to lock, which means that you will be using them this turn without rolling them, and you can move that number of distance. You can steer like turn, yeah, but you can't go in a reverse direction. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to decide whether or not you want to shift up or down, yeah? You don't have to do this. You can stay where you are, or you can shift up or down a gear, or you can engage your brake and shift down up to 2 gears. If you do any more than that, you're going to take some damage. When you take damage, you'll take a damage marker and you'll place it over a component on your player board. So it might knock out a space for an upgrade, or it might knock out one of your gears, right? There's loads of places to put your doodah, right? Next thing you're going to do is you're going to move on to the roll phase. You'll roll any dice that you have remaining. You'll move that number in terms of distance. If you're in gear 2, then you can steer again, or if you didn't steer when you locked dice earlier. And if you're in gear 1, then you can reverse, yeah? So at the end of your turn, you will return locked and rolled dice to your mirror, keeping their values the same. Don't try and change them on the sly, you fucking sneaky c***. You'll assign damage, and you will resolve any item effects that you picked up on the way round. So what happens if you smash into either terrain or another one of those sneaky bastards playing a game, right? So there's loads of different collisions, right? Here's a few of them for you. You might do the smash. This happens when you hit a barrier. You take damage and skip to the end of your turn. You'll remove your gear stick and all dice and start your next turn in gear 0. Yeah, so don't do this because you're probably going to fucking lose, aren't you? You can do a rear end. Yeah, but you know what that is, don't you? Got my custard creams yet, have you? This is when you smash someone from behind. You will half your remaining movement, round it up, and you'll push that car forwards, yeah? This might result in that car having a collision as well, which once you've done your thing with their rear end might be quite satisfying, and it probably will be, especially if you are playing with your mum. So that is the turn structure, yeah? You'll win the game if you are the first player to move through all of the checkpoints. It doesn't matter which way you go round, yeah? There's no set route or anything. You do whatever the fuck you like, which you probably do in real life anyway, but as long as you go through all of the checkpoints and you're the first one to do it, then you're going to win the game of Joyride, hopefully Turbo. So what do we like about Joyride Turbo? So the first thing that we really like about this game is that the gameplay is actually quite fast and fluid, yeah? Even though me reeling off all that boring shit about turn structure and all that stuff seemed like it was sort of a bit contrived and you felt like you're wading through water, but it really isn't that quick, yeah? You're going to decide whether you want to keep some dice from last time. If you do, you move, then you roll your dice, you move again, and maybe you'll fire off your weapon, so to speak, yeah? So I've played this game with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 players, yeah? And okay, 6 players can get a little bit crowded, yeah. Some of the more lucrative lanes, the ones that are going to get you through those flag checkpoints quicker, are cut off through just huge fucking cars blocking your way. So that is a bit of a pain in the ass. But if you're playing, say, with 4 players, then really got no problem. And this game is going to fly by like a fucking pile-up on the M27. So the second thing that we really like about this game is that the weapons add a credible and tangible threat. The possibility of having a missile shoved up your backside by your mother-in-law is an enticing racing prospect, yeah? So you don't really want to get out in front and become a fucking target, yeah? Maybe you do want to missile at your ass, I don't know. And it prevents runaway winners, yeah? If you're lucky enough to roll sixes all the time, then like we said, you're going to be a target and the fucker with the missile is going to have you in their sights, yeah? So yeah, the weapons make the difference for me with this game. So the final thing that we really like, the third thing that we like about Joyride Turbo, is the astounding amount of content in this box. I know that we're talking about a special edition of the game that's got everything thrown in, but it was £100. The retail version of this goes for around about 40-50 quid sometimes, you know, and like I said, I don't know what is in the retail box, but I would imagine there's not a lot in there. It feels a little bit empty. If this is all you played for the next 5 years, yeah, well, you're going to get bored fucking shitless after a while, yeah? No one plays games like that, do they? They don't play the same game over and over and over. So you're going to come back to this, you're going to dip your toe in a little bit more of the content, yeah? Go for the more complex stuff. There's some monsters in this box as well, some fucking nasty little bastards. So yeah, I mean, if there's one racing game that you need, then maybe it's this one. I don't know. A lot of people try and compare and contrast this with Thunder Road Vendetta, but they're two different games, yeah? Now we've got the Carnival Chaos expansion, which turns the game into an arena combat thing. Yeah, it's like a bit difficult to think about which one is the better game, yeah? I haven't come to that conclusion yet, but there is a game that is better than this, but you can't get it anymore, yeah? So you're sort of stuck with this one. Don't we like? Back to Joyride Turbo. So the first thing, and the elephant in the fucking room, is the fact that this game is a blatant rip-off of one of our favourite games of all time, Powerboats, yeah? I mean, really? I don't know all the ins and outs here, but I've read enough to come to some kind of a conclusion. I'm not saying that anything I've read is correct or one bloke is right and the other's wrong, but I'm just telling you what I think based on empirical evidence that I have collected. So I think the story goes like this, yeah, is that there's a game called Powerboats that used three-sided dice and all that sort of stuff, and the designer of this one went to the designer of Powerboats and said, look, can we reprint your game? And there was this back and forth. There was a verbal agreement or email agreement or something, but nothing was ever signed. And the designer of Powerboats didn't hear nothing for fucking ages. And then this game appears out of nowhere. And aside from a few bits that have been added on, it is the same fucking game, yeah? I mean, if that was me, if I was the designer of Powerboats, I'd probably go around there and windows, you know what I mean? But it's bang out of order, right? If that is the true nature of the issue here, then what a fucking bastard. But it's not for me to point fingers or call anyone fucking shitheads. We've got the game, we went out and bought it with our own money, and it's a decent game, yeah? It's just a shame that someone felt the need to bump somebody off and try and get away with it. So the second thing that I've got in my fucking eye, apart from my eyeball, is that turning in this game can be a little bit confusing, yeah? Because it's the front of the car that matters, yeah? So when you want to move your car, you'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I want to turn. Is it there? And everyone's going to be going, fucking dumb fuck. It's this one. And your brain goes like all foggy, like you've just sniffed a load of opium. And you're like, oh, yeah, you're right, all along. But yeah, maybe it's me being a complete and utter fucktard, right? Like I usually am when I'm playing games. But I just found that the turning to be a little bit confusing. Yeah, right, it's probably me. So the final thing that we don't like about Joyride Turbo, and this is an aesthetic thing, yeah, linked with a utilitarian thing. It's the box trays are going to get completely fucked up over time, yeah. Already the little flaps that you got on the cardboard boxes that hold all the components are starting to bend. And once you have gone through this game multiple times, yeah, these cardboard trays are going to get completely fucked up, yeah. And you only need to just move the game. And like just bringing the game into my fucking dungeon has moved all of the components around the tray because there's a gap between the roof of the box and the component tray. So given the chance, all the components are going to be finding their way out of the house like Gary Glitter's Prisoners. For a game that looks this good, plastic inserts with a lid should have been par for the course. But no, they fucking skimped on it. Twats. So to summarise, is Joyride Turbo worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes, absolutely. Joyride Turbo is an immense and sprawling game that cons us into believing it's more than the sum of its parts, yeah? It doesn't really matter if you add in all the extra shit. You'll still just be rolling a few dice and moving a brick around a map. But you know what? That is some fucking amazing fun, right? It's a real shame that the designer felt the need to, rightly or wrongly, borrow the whole fucking game from Powerboats. But Powerboats is probably, in my opinion, the better game. That's because it's like a slimmed down version where you don't have to get bogged down in all a load of bullshit, yeah? So if you can find Powerboats, it's probably better picking that up than this, but I don't think you're going to be able to find it. So you're sort of stuck with this, yeah? That doesn't mean that Joyride Turbo is a complete pile of dog shit. It is not. It's still an amazing racer, but one that gets bogged down in its intense desire to distance itself from what it delusionally perceived to be its embarrassing uncle. So there you go. That is Joyride Turbo. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. What have you got to lose but your dignity? Hit the like button, subscribe, and all that YouTube bullshit that everybody keeps fucking telling you to do. We will see you next time.